First of all, thank you to the organizers of this event for giving me the amazing opportunity to speak here today. My name is Sergio Jessup. I'm 18 and I'm a senior at Santa Fe Prep. I would like to open with the question, how should you define a tragedy? Politicians whose interests are defined not by their constituents, but by lobbyists and corporations, might use emotional buzzwords like atrocious, repulsive, shocking, horrific, or unexpected to describe a school shooting. I would call it normal. The mainstream introduction to gun violence in the United States was at Columbine in 1999, but many of us were not alive or too young to witness or to understand it. My generation's introduction was in 2012, when Adam Lanza killed 28 students and adults at Sandy Hook Elementary School. The world was rattled and an era of regulatory activism was born. Protests sparked all around the country, and President Obama signed 23 executive orders and proposed 12 congressional actions regarding gun control, including one that banned all assault weapons and one that required universal background checks on gun purchases. Both bills died on the Senate floor. Now our president, who received over $11 million in campaign contributions from the NRA, tweets his condolences to Parkland survivors. Back in 2012, Sandy Hook was supposed to change everything. It seemed as though the antiquated interpretation of the Second Amendment would finally be replaced by pragmatic gun control policies that could never have been anticipated or implemented by the founders. When gun fired one shot and took several minutes to reload. Since Sandy Hook, there have been 239 recorded incidents of injury or death on a school campus because of gun violence, which averages out to about once per week. For the past 5 years, once a week, an individual has killed or injured at least one person on a school campus. This level of gun violence in the United States can only be described in one way: normal. And our politicians don't seem to care. This is exemplified in specific incidences, such as when candidate from Maine Leslie Gibson referred to Parkland survivor Emma Gonzalez as a skinhead lesbian who deserves no sympathy. Or to survivor David Hogg as a bald-faced liar. But it's also reflected in our actual gun control laws, for which New Mexico is one of the worst. Firearm sellers are not required to be licensed or file sales reports with the state, and police inspections are not allowed at gun shops or in trade shows. There are no limitations placed on bulk firearm purchases, ammunition regulations, and there are no background checks performed during purchase. There are no state waiting periods, ballistics records, magazine bans, or any restrictions placed on assault weapons at all. For handguns, rifles, and shotguns, there is no permit required for purchase, no requirement to register firearms with the state, no licensing of owners, and no open carry permit requirements. So what can be done? Well, as the next or brand new generation of voters like me, our voice can be an extremely powerful catalyst for change. When politicians like Florida Senator Elizabeth Porter ask, "Are there any children on this floor? Are there any children making laws?" or claim that the adults make the laws because we have the age, we have the wisdom, and we have the experience, we challenge that. We tell them that we do not feel safe in our schools. We show them that we are outraged at the idea that we should not be involved in the political process. If we can vote, then we choose to elect representatives who will listen to what we have to say. And if we cannot, we make sure that our activism counts for that much more. But one thing that we don't do is give up. I believe in optimism and I believe in hope, but hope by itself is not enough. Action is both the realization of hope and the antidote to despair. So I want to thank each and every one of you who is here today for not only choosing to remain hopeful, but for also choosing to take action, because we are not the future, we are the present. We are the knock on the door, the hard dose of reality here to let everyone know that we are tired of the status quo. We are tired of sensationalized media and normalized violence. We are tired of existing in a political system that values contributions from gun lobbyists over the lives of children. And we are tired of being told that our voices do not matter because they do. In an age of increasing social awareness and progressive policies, we are presented with a unique opportunity and a moral imperative to create change and to be heard. So we will continue protesting, we will continue fighting, we will continue walking out of schools, and we will stand for change. The final product of our activism will be reflected in government policies that value our safety and not our money. We will be recognized and we will be heard. Thank you. I would now like to introduce the students from Espanola High School.